What is up, you sinners and saints, you blasphemous, beautiful bastards? Welcome back to the Raging Atheist. This is the Rage. I'm Bear. Horse is with me. We are going to be looking at some funny shit today. Let me unmute John because I muted him. What's up, John?
Hey, how's it going? Yeah, I hadn't unmuted myself because I was in the middle of texting somebody. But yeah, I haven't even seen any of this part of the stream yet, so you're going to get live reactions out of me. But as we heard from a lot of different people, as soon as Nakasuchi left, they spent a large amount of time continuing to go after him when he was gone,
Yeah, so we're going to be looking at about at least 20 minutes of what happens immediately after I leave the room. But real quick, we do have a new feature, and I'm going to be incorporating a lot of new features, hopefully. But there is now a buy a blunt feature, and the link is in the description below. I will throw it into side chat as well. But this is something that we're going to be running, and I'm going to be incorporating a lot of new stuff running into the future. But you can buy me a blunt, and it'll be recognized in the chat, and then you can add me a message, and we will read your message. But we are changing things here. We're going to have a lot of fun today. Real quickly, I wanted to talk about on Friday is my birthday. So Thursday night, I'm going to have Chubbs on, longtime viewer, and we're going to have a friendly discussion about Bigfoot. Should be interesting, a lot of fun. And on Friday, I want to have an open room stream. It's good that I see Skyout is here because Skyout is somebody that I was going to invite on. If you'd like to come on, Skyout, it's going to be pretty much an open room, open conversation. I want to stream for 3, 4, 5 hours maybe. So anybody's welcome. Anybody can come on, just as long as you don't drop any slurs and whatnot. So
Wait, did you say Skyout's here?
Yeah, Skyle's in the chat.
Oh, and just a second ago, I thought I smelled the Dunning-Kruger effect.
Yeah, I just saw just a part of Drag Stream. I didn't see too much of it. I just at the very end, I came in and I guess Skyle's talking smack about drag. Funny. But so yeah, the Friday night stream will be that. And for some reason, John, I am not seeing your avatar. Let me see. Let me get back to StreamYard. It's fine on StreamYard, but when I get over to the screen, for some reason, your avatar just isn't showing up.
Huh. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I mean, I wonder if they can hear me.
Can the audience hear John Peterson? So, yeah, please respond to that. We'll see it in about 30 seconds. So, yeah, hopefully, I'm not sure what's going on with the stream and StreamYard at this point. That's kind of weird, odd, very odd. Let's see, maybe let's share my screen. We'll go ahead and share my screen.
Okay, so it's just like a white circle.
Yeah.
I wonder why. That's crazy.
All right, so let's
mute this for a second.
They do hear you though, so that's a good thing. All right, so this is going to be a lot of fun. Again, I'm going to start this shortly before I go. What else did I want to talk about? Oh yeah, there was one thing. I know that there's like some talk about like whether or not you should really address a person like Smokey Saint, and I kind of disagree and I kind of agree. I tried to ignore Smokey for quite a long time, but like when you have a person given a narrative, a bunch of slanderous lies about yourself, you pretty much are forced to respond. You can't have this person just spitting these things about you, without responding to them. So that's essentially why it has escalated to the point that it has escalated. Now, I am planning on doing a video that kind of captures how this whole thing happened, so it's a lot clearer, and maybe if you haven't been here for all of it, you can watch that video and have a better understanding of how this happened. But we are where we are, and Smokey's gotten a lot of clout, at least on the Christian side of the community. And whether or not that I'm doing videos on Smokey or anybody else does videos on Smokey, he's going to be continuing to do his modern day debates. He's going to be continuing to go into these Christian chat rooms. He's going to be continuing to get subscribers, and he's going to be spitting this narrative, this bullshit, this vitriol about us, about what we say and who we are. And if we don't fight back against that, well, then we can't really be mad when people start to believe these things about us. So at least I'm here saying, no, I'm not an anti-Semite. No, I'm not a racist. Let me expose this fool for exactly what he is. So that's what I'm trying to do. But this is a legitimate argument, and I don't want to take away from that argument. Just explain why I decided to go the route that I did. But I see your back, John.
I changed the picture and now it works. I don't know. Maybe
it's
my older picture is toast. Who knows? Yeah, and just to clarify a little bit about what you said there, he's gaining traction in a certain faction of the Christian community. Okay, because I know a lot of Christians that would not co-sign, his actions and his behavior by any stretch of the imagination. So.
Yeah, and I think Lucifer Almighty in the chat has it correctly about the name, a room full of Christians. He says, I wouldn't say a room full of Christians, more a den of trolls. And I think he's right. And I think, like this one guy, when he was in there, he was genuine. And the Nicholas guy, I'm not sure about. He's a bit weird. He's a bit odd, and he's definitely a follower, not a leader. But yeah, the rest of these people, I think, are definitely trolls. Praise is definitely a troll. Sky, I'm sorry, dog, you're a troll. P Mars is just, I don't know. I think P Mars is some alt-right dude, honestly. So,
and who I want to mention about is, so I was on that stream with Jay earlier today, and we were going over and checking on that Praise I Am had a stream, and then he just left it up, and nobody was there. But Gavin hung around in the live chat for a good hour or more after there was nobody in the stream, just to time out and hide people that came into the live chat and said anything against them. It was just so funny. I mean, he was had like some obsession or something with, if anybody went in there and from that was an atheist and said anything, like Jay was trying to get Gavin, hey, there's nobody in your stream, come over here to ours, and
he didn't want to do that, did he?
Yeah, no. I even went in there under your account, and I didn't say anything untoward. I just was like, hey, what's up, just to see if it would still post.
That's funny. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, and don't surprise me. Like it took so long for me to actually be able to get this footage here. I wanted to do this yesterday, but I think Praise fell asleep and left it going, so it ended up being a 12-hour stream, and it took forever to process. That's why I said, like, when I woke up, it was still streaming. I was surprised, so I went back to the beginning and recorded everything, because I knew once it was finally done that thing was going to be a monster for YouTube to process.
Well, and you know what? It's actually it pleases me to hear that kind of shit isn't just happening to channels like yours. I mean,
yeah,
because like I was telling you, like a week or so ago, there was another channel that does a lot of kind of the same content that you do, and their shit processed in it was processed immediately after the stream was done.
Yeah, I've definitely noticed the bigger channels get processed almost immediately.
It's crazy.
And it's across the board. Like, I still can't see the live chats from like my last 4 streams. It's insane right now. But we're gonna get into this, John. This is gonna be hilarious. So we're gonna start off, and we're gonna let it get through the part to where why isn't it letting me?
Jay pulls you away.
Yeah. Hopefully it should be unmuted. For some reason, my other screen isn't really working well. There we go. All right. So, we'll get right to that. This will be right after I leave. And then I also have a conversation that I had on Jay's channel that I'm going to mirror and put up so you can see where I was at right after the stream. And I think it'll be a good counter reflection looking at this room full of trolls here. Now, John, like if you went into a room full of Christians like this, if you thought that you did really well leaving it, what would you expect from that room? Like, would you expect them to just move on and start talking about different shit, or are they going to talk shit about you?
Yeah, I mean, it would just depend on who the group was that I was talking with. I mean, if it was this group, then I'm not surprised at what they did. If it was, some, more, well thoughtful theists, then they would probably just move on to something else.
Well, yeah, and I want everybody to understand. Now they're trying to make an argument that I took this conversation into a realm of violence. Like I got all fucking ghetto atheist and threatened to kick Smokey's ass, but that's not how it happened. Smokey took this conversation there. Smokey took the conversation there, and I just responded. It was a conversation about action and consequence. Smokey wants to say the N-word, and he wants to have no ramifications for that. He doesn't think people should be able to like slap him like a little bitch. And he thinks that I'm wrong because I think that shit would be funny. If you go say the N-word and you get slapped, I'm going to laugh at you because there's action and then there's consequence. So he can't quite get that. Like, he always claims that I don't understand his arguments when I do, but he can't understand the context of this, right? So like when he says, well, what if I found the things that you said offensive enough that I want to do violence upon you? My argument's the same. There's action and consequence. You can take that action. You can come and get violent with me, and there's going to be a consequence. So, like, he took the conversation.
Just like for the guy, if he uses the N-word and he gets a beat down for it, the guy who gave him the beat down, there might be consequences for him.
Exactly. And he's not understanding that. He just wants to be able to say the N-word, and he don't want people to be able to slap him like a little bitch. And that's just not how life works. Like, that's just not how life works. But so let's get into this. We're going to start a little bit, before I leave, once that, dumpster fire happens.
Go ahead, y'all.
I'm sorry, Dwayne, but like, Gavin's stupid.
Shut your mouth. Oh. Is Dwayne finished? It must be my turn.
Well, I just want to say, like, how the fuck did I justify what Dwayne just said, yo?
I don't care what you want to say, piece of social cancer. It's not your turn.
Hey, Knock, you want to come to my channel so we can talk?
Yes, I think I do. Because all right, so I didn't start it quite as early as I thought I did. I thought I started it with the dumpster fire. So here we are. Jay came to rescue me. And he didn't rescue me. Like, I totally schooled him, but he came in at the right moment when it was just a absolute guttural dumpster fire. And it's like, hey, let's go talk somewhere else and have a more productive conversation. So, so we're right there now. And you guys are going to see what transpires. Now, John hasn't seen any of this. I did. This is hilarious. I find this to be absolutely fucking funny. There's parts of this I'm just like face palming as I'm listening to it. So, all right, here we go, John. Because this is nonsense.
All right, I'll start up a live stream and I'll send you the link.
I'll be there, dog. I'll be there. All right, yeah, sayonara, y'all. Thank you, Praise, for letting me come on. And Nicholas, I would like to talk to you about love someday. But peace the fuck out, y'all.
Wow. Good written.
Right, quitting atheist. Can I have a turn?
Yeah, so there's a couple of things I did get to.
I find it really, can I just say something real quick? I find it so weird because I had this now happen to me twice today, where I asked two atheists, Rage and also James Young today, where I asked them their stance on abortion. And I said, are you pro-life or pro-choice? They refused to answer it. And yet when I finally...
Wait.
Yeah, go ahead.
Wait.
Because...
Okay, you refuse to answer it. No, Smokey, he answered you, and he answered you very comprehensively, and you just don't like his answer. Okay, I mean, to say that he didn't answer your question is straight up bullshit.
Yeah, and they're still trying to say like I'm the one that spent this whole conversation justifying the murder of innocent babies when that's just not the case. And yeah, when he asked me my stance on abortion, I told him my stance on abortion. He just doesn't accept it because it doesn't fit the narrative that he wants to spin about me, which is, you know, that I give literally no fucks if babies are being killed, you know, which that's the narrative he wants to spin.
When in all reality, if you watch the modern day debate with Skylar and T-Jump and him and CJ, it's them who don't give any fucks about babies being murdered.
Well, yeah, and that whole conversation was them backed against the wall, having to defend the murder of innocent babies, and they're going to talk about it here. Like Dwayne Burke's going to go into his whole shit. Like, no innocent human babies were killed in the flood because it was just all the Nephilim. Like, he doesn't understand that there were human beings. Like, he thinks that human beings were having Nephilim babies, just out of like normal marriage and shit. No, those were human beings. If there were such a thing as Nephilim, and, you know, spoiler alert, I'm an atheist, I don't think that there were. If there were such a thing as Nephilim, those babies would be born out of rape, because the Nephilim would have raped a mortal woman. I don't know where he's coming with this whole bullshit. Yeah. So, I mean, they're the ones justifying it, and then they try to use abortion to flip it around. You know, they try to use abortion as the same standards. No, God killed living, breathing, innocent babies. This isn't an abortion debate. This is a debate about how you can just be cool with that. I mean, honestly, that's what the entire discussion was, is they were cool because it's God. You know, and because they look bad because of that, they wanted to say, well, you know, knock an abortion. I mean, come the fuck on.
Korg says that Gavin said that atheism was invented in like the 4th century.
Yeah, bless your heart, Gavin.
Yeah,
bless your heart. I was in a room recently with Gavin again. I'm thinking it was either Smokey's room, actually it was this one guy's room, and yeah, it's just the same shit. He's a troll.
Gavin is he is the personification of old man yells at cloud.
Oh yeah. I mean, there was a couple points at the end of this conversation where he literally said, "Shut up, shut up, social cancer." Like, literally saying that I am social cancer. But all right, let's continue, because we're just starting. This is fucking hilarious. You know, mind you, I'm gone now. Like, you know, I'm gone. Are they going to discuss my arguments really?
You're gone. You're gone, but you are still.
I'm all up in their heads.
You're quite obviously running space in their heads for sure.
They finally will admit, well, it's the woman's choice. Okay, great. You're pro-choice. Finally. Now I just wasted 5 minutes to drag that out of you. The spinelessness, the just inability to even have the testicular fortitude to stick to your garbage worldview enough to defend it for 5 seconds. Just, I guess it puts me in a mood, you know?
Right.
Can I have my turn?
Crisis League of Nations. Yeah, go ahead, Gavin.
All right, so Gavin wants to turn now. He wants to talk now. But this one guy, I kind of appreciate this, because this one guy is hearing this, and I think he realizes, holy shit, I don't want to be in a room where they're gonna be talking and bashing on Knock. We have a decent relationship, so yeah. I mean, you guys will see. Like, this one guy's actually a pretty decent dude. He has some integrity to him, and of course, you know, they don't like that. There was a situation that happened on this one guy's channel just like yesterday, I think, maybe the day before. But all right, let's go.
Hey Maynard, wait. Don't try and post messages while you're driving.
Yeah, be safe, Maynard. Be safe.
Because I just want to build off what Smokey was saying. Atheists are cowards, full stop. We saw that tonight. We tried to have a structured discussion. It wasn't a debate, it was a discussion, right? The atheists could not help themselves, but try to overtalk, try to cut in, and then try to get right down and lower it down to come and see me in Michigan and we'll fight it out. All right? You're all coward. Atheists, you're absolute coward. If there's any...
All right, so he's blaming me for what Smokey did. Like I'm the one that took it there. You know, Smokey didn't take it there. I took it there. And then he's like, I'm the one that was over talking the whole time. Like, no, we literally, like, I literally have a banner, #boring, because that's exactly what Gavin was doing the whole time.
Over talking to everybody.
Yeah, Christian, atheist, it didn't matter. Gavin was talking over everybody. Like the level of projection, you know, like I have to be this terrible person. No, the only thing terrible about me is I just ran circles around every motherfucker in that room, and they couldn't take it. They couldn't take it. All right, let's continue.
In the room, you should be ashamed of yourself.
Well, and
Are
if
you?
and if I may add off of that, because that's a good point, Gavin, is the whole point of that video to point out his hypocrisy. Is it's nonsense to say you believe in free speech, that people should be able to say this word, but they should also be able to have their faces beaten for it. Because then where do you draw the line? Each individual can set their own, you know, linear definition, arbitrary definition of that which is that line. And
I don't even think that that's my stance. My stance is not that it's okay, only that it's probably gonna happen. You know, like action and consequence. I'm not saying it's okay. Again, like me and you have commented on that several times. You know, like that person, if they did commit violence in that situation, has a chance to go to jail, right? I mean, assault. I mean, it's not legal to physically assault somebody, but at the same time, I'm just saying that it can happen. And if I was there, I'd probably laugh about it.
Yeah, well, and that I'm not going to, even though the person that perpetrates the violence could have consequences, and that in most cases, I'm not an advocate of violence. If you're going to say, you know, bigoted, racist, hateful things, and you get your ass beat for it, I mean, I'm not going to say that was wrong, that you got your ass beat.
Yeah, I mean,
but it still is wrong in that the law might have something to say about it.
yeah, it's still assault. Assault is assault. And you know, like, and at some point during that conversation, he had asked me like, what, or maybe it was even the civil conversation that we had one-on-one. He had asked me like, what other words can you use that would have the same results? And I'm like, I didn't respond to that because it's just a stupid question, because there's plenty of them. You know, there's plenty of them. There's plenty of derogatory words that could offend somebody to the point that an assault happens. And I don't have to sit here and spit them out. That's just common fucking sense, you know, like, so, I mean, it's just, I mean, his issue is he wants to be able to say the N-word and not get smacked like the little bitch that he is, like the racist bitch that he is.
Like the ubiquitous, as much as the F word is ubiquitous here in the United States, I would say the C word has that same ubiquitousness in the UK. But I know a lot of women that if you were to use the C word in front of them, they'd off and slug you.
Well, yeah, and I've used it in that context, like, because I like the C word in the context that the UK uses it, and I make the mistake of using it sometimes in that context, and I hear about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hear about it, and I understand. Yes, I shouldn't use it in that context here, because it has a totally different connotation here. It has a different meaning for a woman than what I'm using it for, and I need to be understanding of that. You know, like, it's, you know, like saying retard on stream. You know, like I said it all the time, and now I have an understanding that even though I don't mean it in certain ways, it is offensive when people hear it, and I need to have an understanding of that. So yeah. Get him, brother. What's up, grumpy old dude? What's up, Jefferson Spatchcock, Brainbug, Paul Camish? So yeah, like, I find it funny, you know, that these groups of Christians, like, I could understand it for a couple minutes, right? Like, I just left the room. It was heated. It ended heatedly. I can understand a couple minutes, but we're going to be watching at least 20 minutes. So that's the thing that I don't understand. Like, that's how you know I was really up in these motherfuckers' heads. Like, I had gotten to them, and they are going to gonna bash me for it. It's really, really great. Like I enjoyed watching this earlier, John. This was like the highlight of my morning, outside of the fact that I was on the Daily Atheist morning show. So if you guys didn't catch that live, go catch it out. We had a pretty good conversation over there. But yeah, let's continue.
Now we have an anarchy, chaotic society where
And this is
basically
someone that
people,
wants to talk about love.
right, and this is people who are basically saying, yes, it is okay to use violence for words. That is fine. This is
Did
what he is
Nakasushi end
promoting.
up leaving?
Yes.
Because my phone died when I cut out there, so I don't have no idea what happened when he responded. Because I responded and my phone died, so I think he said something about love and babies and something, and I couldn't hear him because he was talking too fast, and then my phone died. So, but I'm getting ready to get off and go home anyway. I just finished with my last job, so I'll talk to you guys later, and I'll have to rewatch this and make comments later. Good night, guys. God bless and all that.
God bless.
Be safe. Bye.
Right.
You see, and you noticed how he couldn't really let me finish my actual points because of how bad it was making him look.
He's trying to subvert, yeah.
And so, this is the type of dishonesty I expect from people like him and Skylar. And this is why I get frustrated. And this is why
I
I
hear
get
you, man.
to that edge, if you guys know what I mean.
Like I didn't let him finish his points. Like we had a good back and forth through that whole thing.
And here's the thing too, with the way the Smokey acts, does he strike you as the demure individual that will just sit back and take it when he's not being allowed to talk? Get the fuck out of here, man.
Yeah. I mean, it's ridiculous for like so what Smokey Sane is doing right here is being the child that he is. And it's gonna get worse. Like I don't want to spoil anything because he says something really fucking beautiful. And I can't wait for it. But like he is being a petulant child right now. He lost the argument. He lost it soundly. I made them all look bad. They understand that, so they're going to continue talking about it. But they were literally defending the death of innocent children and babies. I mean, they were literally for like an hour defending that shit, and they're mad at me for making them defend it. And I'm sorry, but you guys believe that stupid shit, not me. Like, I don't believe in that stupid shit.
Lotta N says that she uses the C word all the time in Swedish.
Yeah, it has definitely a different meaning in other places of the world, but here, this is America, and that has become a derogatory word here. America. All right, let's continue.
Yes, I knew what you mean, exactly. So, yeah.
I would say Knox's problem is that he has no moral dimension, and everything he says is subjective and relative and simply just deterministic. And everything,
How insanely narcissistic to think that anything he said to me with his two attack streams of nonsense contradiction, that he is the inspiration behind me being kind to Rib.
All right, so proof, John Peterson, proof that I was in fact the inspiration for it, because he would not be mentioning it otherwise. And I just really love just the vitriol of all of this. Like Sky Out is hammering it home. I have no morality. I have no basis for morality. You got Smokey. Like they're all so fucking butthurt right now that I mean their cheeks are just clenched. Sky Out, if you're still in the chat, I'm interested to see if you've unclenched them cheeks yet.
Yeah.
I mean, this is fucking beautiful, man. I mean, this is great.
Refresh my memory.
What was that?
No, refresh my memory. What stream was it? We both called him out in the live chat, and then he went in there and was sweet as pie.
It was Math Pig stream.
Math Pig stream. Okay, yeah. Now,
yeah.
Right, go ahead.
Yeah, he was nice as can be in that stream.
Yep.
Yeah, he was good, Smokey. And
he was in
about 15
chat.
minutes.
Yeah, he was in the live chat calling us, what was it? What's this favorite word? Something.
Trash clowns.
Trash clown. Atheist trash clowns, immoral monsters. But then Knock and myself mentioned that, he can't have a conversation without being, insulting and spewing hateful things. And then he goes in there and he's pleasant as pie for about 15 minutes.
Yeah. And notice how none of these Christians, I don't even know what denomination Smokey Sane is, right? I think I don't even think I really know what Praise's denomination is. I definitely don't know Gavin's. I definitely don't know PMAR's. I have no idea about Dwayne Burke. Nicholas, Proclaimer of Messiah, I think might be a NIFB. I'm not sure, but like they don't talk about the differences they have, because I know for a fact, like Skyld and Praise, I don't think they really get along because they have such disagreements about what Christianity is. I could be wrong, but that's what I've heard. But I still don't know Smokey Saint's denomination. I don't know if he's a Catholic, if he's a Baptist. I don't know what the fuck he is. But all right, we're gonna continue.
How narcissistically deluded can you possibly be? Like the man's brain is basically a pickle, and he thinks he's giving me like moralistic advice. Has he lost his freaking mind?
And then when I addressed him with these biblical texts and hermeneutics, he goes, and he tries to impugn God. He didn't accept the explanations. The atheists are given evidences, explanations, but they don't want them. I think there is good evidence of that.
Yeah.
Praise. The thing is, though, you can't.
So from what I get from what Praise just said, like he's upset that I didn't accept his bullshit apologetics. Only the problem here is like Praise really wasn't part of the conversation. Like he didn't really do anything or say anything. So like, what the fuck is he even talking about?
I mean, all I basically did was like step in. I noticed several times during this stream, he stepped into, like cup Smokey's balls.
Yeah. I mean, he was stroking Smokey's ego, but that was about it.
And then you say, he says he, gave you some Bible verses, and his hermeneutic. I can never say that word. His exegesis and eisegesis on it, and that's not proof of anything. That's basically a layman giving their opinion of what a scripture really means. Like we're told by Christians all the time that we can't rely on our reading comprehension, that the scriptures actually are saying something that you can't ascertain unless you know what you're reading. Well, no, motherfucker, they taught me how to read back in grade school. I know how to read. I can read the words. I know what they mean. And granted, like, and that's why we have like the Dr. Joshes of the world. Granted, things are lost in translation sometimes, so you do have to know the origin of the word. But for the most part, I mean, especially a lot of these Christians, they swear by the King James Bible. Well, guess what? The King James Bible is in English.
Yeah, and we can read it. And yeah, they understand that it's horrible, so they have to create these hermeneutics or apologetic or whatever the fuck Praise wants to say. Like, I have a fairly good understanding of the Bible. It seems to me like they're the ones that have to justify it. Like all I have to do is ask the questions. You're the ones that have to justify it. You're the ones that actually believe in this bullshit. I don't. And and it's one thing, like, all right, so if you're going to spend the next 20 minutes picking apart the argument and tell me why I was wrong, that's one thing. But they're not doing that. They're just trash talking me. Yep. They're not picking apart any of the things that I said. The level of butthurt here. Like I said, like that, I'm wondering, Skyot, are them cheeks still clamped together? But let's continue because it's going to get funnier.
Thank you, Paul Kamish. He just bought you a blunt.
And it didn't show up in the chat either, did it?
Well, he put a message in about it. So.
Well, yeah, no, but it should show up in the chat. So Daily the Atheist Morning Show is here. I'll have to talk with Chris later and find out what I'm doing wrong. But thank you so much for that, Paul Kamish. That is a new feature, and we will work out the bugs. It should be showing up in the chat.
Well, it may be like a little delay,
Maybe we'll see. But yeah, thank you so much. And yeah, we'll be incorporating that. But let's get back to this. It's going to get funnier. There's one part in here where I just start laughing. I can't help myself.
Contradicted themselves straight away. The minute he turned around and said it was justifiable for a woman to choose to save life or take life, he shot himself in the foot, because immediately you can't then argue that God doesn't have that chance to be able to choose to do that because he's the creator of existence. But not only that, what I was trying to say to him was,
God doesn't put you to death for good. God is putting you in a state of transition.
Right.
He's transitioning you to one point to the other.
Well, and despite his
So-
his attempt to spinelessly obfuscate and avoid it, he is pro murder, pro baby death. Because the fact of the matter is, he has no argument against a woman
He lost the
not
argument
murdering
when
her
he
child. Yeah, he has no argument against a woman not murdering her child. He says, "Oh, I think you
lost
should
the
do other
argument.
things." Yeah, he says, "I think you should do other things and not kill it." Okay, why? I don't want to take care of it, and I don't want to go through the birth. So why should I do it? And he'll just be like, "Okay, go ahead, kill it." This is his supposed, moral stance.
Well, this is what's quite contradictory about what he said is because for him to turn around and say innocent babies were killed in the flood, then pretty much contradicts the fact that innocent babies have
Amen.
been killed by women.
Amen.
So, look,
All right, so I mean, it's such a different argument to talk about God killing the entire world of innocent babies and children and innocent people in cultures that just didn't believe in God. A totally different argument than a woman making a medical decision about a fetus that's 12 weeks to 21 weeks old, right? Like there's a huge disparity there. It's not the same argument. It's not the same conversation. All right, you start talking about a fetus, and that's a conversation about when life starts, right? But we're talking about beings that already have life. So it's a different conversation, and they're just totally trying to conflate the two because for over an hour, I made them all look like the horrible monstrosities that they are, that they actually do support the genocide of the innocent. And the only reason they do is because, God did it.
Right, and I always love the response from some Christians. Well, why would you even, call out what happened in the flood? You don't even believe it happened. Because the point is, you believe it happened, okay? You believe it happened and you sanction it and you say that God was moral in doing it. But there is no morality in slaughtering innocent children. I mean, and that's what he did. Babies that were already outside the womb, that were still at the age of innocence, who still didn't have their own cognitive abilities, and God drowned them.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's not the same conversation. And even when they did flip it to that conversation, and I started to have that conversation with them, well, that's about the time that Smokey started going into the N-word conversation. So, like, we didn't even really have a chance to flesh that out. But they're going to talk shit about me after I leave and not even really allow me to represent my true opinion on the matter or have a conversation about it because I'm no longer there. I left. I dipped out and it went to a toxic place, and I was like, peace. Again, this is just showing the level of butthurt from these people because I feel like I ran circles around them the entire time I was in that room. And I think that this is just evidence that they understand that or they wouldn't be spending so much time with me in every single one of their heads like they are doing right now.
Yep.
All right, but it's going to get funnier. Let's go.
You're totally contradicting yourself.
It's hypocritical. That's what he used.
And also the fact that in the narrative, these babies most likely, he said they wouldn't have died. Like, dude, not only would they probably have died, they probably would have died horrible deaths, at least most of them, because this was a horrible, disgusting, debaucherous time. A good number of them might have been left out to die and starve. You have no idea. This text literally paints the picture of the worst time in all of human history. And you want to ignore that.
Yeah.
You want to ignore that and say, oh, these kids would have grown up okay? You stupid, degenerate moron.
Baby might starve, so I'm going to drown it.
All right, so
these kids are being fried.
Oh, sorry, I paused the wrong stream. All right, so
I was going to say, yeah, a baby might starve, so I think I'll drown it.
And
that's their argument.
I'm not even ignoring that. My argument isn't that every single person on the planet is innocent. My argument isn't that all those cultures weren't guilty of the things that God said they're guilty of. My argument is this: there's no way in hell that every single person on the planet was guilty of those things, and there's no way that a baby can be guilty of those things. So when God kills the babies, he is killing the innocent. I'm not talking about everybody else that was guilty. I grant that premise because I'm granting the premise that this actually fucking happened. I don't believe in this shit. I have to grant that premise to have this conversation. So saying that this did happen, God killed the innocent when he killed the babies. Even if everybody else was fucking evil, the babies had no capability of that. And we know this now. We know this. So like they're completely strawmanning my position. And then they're, Smokey's being Smokey. Smokey is just talking shit because he just got his ass handed to him. Like he knows it. Like he was in my comment section this morning as soon as I woke up, talking shit. Because he understands that I have exposed him. I have exposed him thoroughly for what he is, and he cannot stand that. He's going to try to carry on just the same old. But everybody knows, like he's a joke. He's the new Darth Dawkins. That's Smokey Saint.
Yep.
All right, so let's go. I mean, straw man me, lie about me. Couldn't say none of this shit when I was up in the stream. Right? Like, couldn't say none of this shit when I was up in the stream.
A metal altar that's probably hotter than a stove, and they're frying to death. And you're going to tell me wiping him out real quick, and bringing him to his realm is worse? No way.
See, that's the thing. The atheists, whenever they critique it, they never fail to make it freaking worse because they're idiots.
Right. Well, they think
you went down that route.
They don't believe in an afterlife in the first place, so they think everything happens here and it stays here.
Yeah.
And that's the
naturalistic worldview of our text. That's why I keep telling them, stop judging our worldview with yours if you're not going to freaking justify it.
Exactly.
Why would I justify their worldview when I'm attacking it? I don't get that. Do they justify our worldview when they attack our worldview? Are they coming from a place of understanding of our worldview when they attack our worldview, John? We're in childhood again. Like they don't understand that it's two ways. Like, and this is what I always talk about. Like they're literally just butthurt because an atheist is an atheist, and we can be that way now.
And the thing is, and there was a thread on Twitter today. I can't remember who started it, but they were talking about how. Something I said for a long time about how Christians they pretend that their morality comes from the Bible, but the fact of the matter is it doesn't, because if their morality was derived strictly from the Bible, the world would be a hellscape 24/7. Okay, and this idea that we can't judge their morality because we have no basis for morality. Look, we have a basis in morality in that. Over millennia, humanity has developed a sense of well-being for self and others, that humanity has developed the ability to empathize and think in the abstract, that humanity has realized that, no man is an island, you must live in a society. And that's where morality came from. And their counter to that is, my morality is this one book.
Yeah.
So they can talk about how we have no basis to judge their morality. We have more of a basis to judge morality than they do.
Well, yeah, and it's like I showed of my latest conversation with Smokey and this crew, this crew of goons. When I was talking to Neffy, and Neffy literally said, "I have a book." And he said it several times. "I have a book. What do you have?" "I have a book." And I'm like, I mean, yeah, so I got a lot of books. Like, what the fuck? Your book doesn't prove anything. It's just a fucking book. It's a fucking book written by human beings. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean fucking nothing. It has no bearing in the conversation outside of me tearing that book apart to show you how stupid it is. And it is like, and that's why they don't like my series where I talk about it, where I'm singling that one little individual thing out. The fact that their book is stupid. And it's not even a really good fiction book. It's pretty terrible fiction book. I mean, so many better hero journeys out there than the hero journey of Jesus Christ. I'm just saying. All right, let's continue.
You know what I don't like is when they're... Sorry, go on.
They always go to the Old Testament. It's like they never really criticize what Jesus said, and it's like Christians is more about Jesus than the Old Testament. So.
Right.
I don't like when it contradicts exactly what Scripture says. So if I turn around, if he asks me about the Bible and I tell him what my thoughts are on the Nephilim story, then he should accept the way I interpret it and argue based upon that interpretation.
Why? Why should I do that? Why don't you accept the way I interpret it and argue based on that interpretation? Because it's not how it fucking works. Like, what is he talking about? Like, these people are clearly, I don't know, like maybe elementary school dropouts. Now, I'm a high school dropout. I ain't gonna talk no shit, but like elementary school dropouts, come on now, like get some education. And you know, what are you talking about?
Well, I mean, and the thing is like, so just like that debate that we've referenced a few times between Skylar, T-Jump, Smokey, and CJ, that's how T-Jump and Skylar played it. They were arguing with them based on based on Smokey and CJ's interpretation of the Bible. Your God drowned the world. That includes innocent babies. Now explain to me why that was moral.
And that's what I was doing this whole conversation as well. That's why Smokey compared me to Skylar. So I was channeling my inner Skylar fiction. No, I was arguing from your worldview. I granted you this premise. You know, it's just so ludicrous, John. But it's funny. I mean, you have to admit, it's pretty fucking hilarious.
I don't know about this, but all right, Maynard. Thanks, buddy.
John Peterson 2020. Why not? I mean, why the fuck not? We don't have very great options again this go around. But right, let's continue because let me see, where are we at? We're at 346. I am going to 358. So we still got a bit.
He shouldn't be coming back and saying, no, it needs to be interpreted this way because he doesn't even believe in it anyway. So he needs to be arguing based upon my argument.
Right.
And he always takes the most simplistic interpretation possible and tells us we're all dumb for not believing the same thing. Like,
it's not a simplistic interpretation, it's a literal interpretation. I'm not the one that takes the Bible literally. Some Christians do. Not all Christians. I'm not saying that Smokey Saint takes it literally, but some Christians do, and that's why I read it literally. Smokey Saint has argued YEC talking points. I'm pretty sure that Praise is YEC. I'm pretty sure that Sky Out is YEC. They are the ones that take it literally. So when I read the Bible, and my Bible is Stupid series, I read it literally because Christians take it literally. They literally think it's the infallible word of God. So why would I read it any other way? I don't get it. I just don't get it.
What an idiot.
Prima facie, yeah. The other thing is that I was trying to bring up that there's no innocence in war, too. I don't think Rage understood, like, this wasn't an arbitrary punishment that God just, decided on a whim. Hey, I'm just going to go flood a bunch of people or something. No, this was after a time. This is a punishment, a crime. This is after hundreds of years of craft, 400 years actually. It says to the fourth generation.
Genesis 15, exactly. Yeah.
So, I mean, what do you expect? It's called justice. That's actually a virtue.
Yeah.
So
let me unmute.
There's justice in drowning babies. Okay.
Yeah, or putting the sword to baby. So again, they're so butthurt that they still are trying to justify the monstrosity of their God. And here he's saying that, well, shit happens in war, and this was justice. Well, even to this day, we hold ourselves to higher standards than that. And this is supposedly a people governed by God himself, like given direct orders, right? So again, it stems back to the same question. That could be right. It could have been 400 years of absolute justice being done. The question is, does that really apply to babies? Because we know that babies are babies. They didn't do anything wrong. They're innocent of that. They do not have the capabilities of doing any of that. And you can literally take those babies and make them Israelites, and you don't have to murder them. So when God orders you to murder them, your God is immoral, and you just have to keep finding ways to justify it because well, you're fucking immoral. Period.
Yeah.
It was good that you brought that up, Praise, because it went straight into the next bit of obviously making it, because all he kept reverting back to was the innocent babies, the innocent babies. Look, no, you're misunderstanding it. They weren't innocent babies, they were Nephilim babies. If God hadn't killed them, then they would have corrupted everything and it would have died anyway.
So there we are, right there. Like, they're all Nephilim babies. Like, when God killed the entire world, everybody was a Nephilim except for Noah and his family. That is what Dwayne Burke is saying right now.
Basically, yeah.
I mean, just how ridiculous is that?
It's, I mean, and the thing is, too, even if they were Nephilim babies, are they still not babies? I mean, the babies produced from Nephilim, are they cognizant from the moment of birth? Do they... are they aware of their surroundings at the moment of birth? Can they make judgments at the moment of birth? No.
Yeah, it makes absolutely no sense. But we know, like, I've read it, and this is the conversation, is that they're misrepresenting what God was actually mad at. God wasn't mad at the Nephilim. God was mad at humanity. And it says it clearly in the Bible. I say it, and they get mad at me about it. But that's what the Bible says. Why are they going against their own fucking God? Unless they're just fake ass, po-ass Christians. No. I think I just answered my own question, Joe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, by the grace of God, he saved Noah so that at the very least, one person could continue. And this is what he didn't like. He didn't like the fact of that being brought up, and he would just fight back to it.
I noticed on Noka's YouTube, anyone who agrees with him in the comments, he'll thumbs up and heart, and then anyone who disagrees, he'll just he won't do that.
Okay, so what, right. I don't understand what. Okay, so if somebody agrees with you or says something nice about you, yeah, you give them a heart. Somebody gives you blowback, you're not going to give them a heart. But I have noticed, if somebody makes a good point and makes you think about the point you made, you'll admit, I've seen you in the comments admit, well, that's a good point. I might have to rethink that. Or
yeah, I think I did it recently for CJ Cox. I gave him a heart, and I'm like, hey, I don't really agree with your point here, but I appreciate the honesty. Like, I mean, this is how butthurt they are, John. So now we're literally talking about the fact that if a Christian comes in and trolls me, I don't hit the heart button.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about right now. I shit you not, audience. I shit you not. I told you that this was going to be hilarious. I told you that this was going to be fucking funny. We're talking about how if a Christian comes and trolls me, right? I don't hit the heart button like I do for all the positive comments.
Yeah.
I mean, this is one of those smack my forehead moments. Like, I'm face palming right now. I don't have my camera on because I'm smoking some weed.
I've put comments on Praise's channel, on Jill's channel, on Smokey's channel. I don't remember ever getting a heart from any of them.
Yeah, I mean, what? How ridiculous! Knock didn't give me a heart when I called him a dickhead. Yeah. Oh my god! Oh man, schoolyard, like grade school bullshit, dude. It's so grade school. Like I handed you guys an ass whooping. There was so many of you to gang up on me. Like, you remember those criticisms I used to get, John, about how I had rooms and we were just ganging up on Christians and shit. Well, I gave them it was one. There's 7 of them there now. There was a couple more. It was like 9 against fucking 1. I ran circles around all of you, and now you're so butthurt. You're talking about how I don't heart your comments. I mean, I shit you not. This was fucking one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life.
Even if you're being polite, I think it's kind of like, I don't know.
Did anyone not notice how quick the atheists were to start with their mockery?
Oh yeah, the big bad God. You know, the Richard Dawkins profile of God, and you know, even atheists spurn that Richard Dawkins. Even that's how bad that type of interpretation of the Bible is, and that's all he does is the Richard Dawkins routine.
Well, when you haven't got an argument or a foundation, the only thing you've got left is mockery.
Oh, I just wonder: do you think Smokey is listening to Gavin right now? I think you're muted, Knock.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, no, like
when you don't have an argument, and Gavin just said, if you don't have an argument, the only thing you have left to rely on is mockery. I wonder if Smokey was listening to what he said right there.
Oh yeah, no, definitely not. Smokey's not listening to Gavin, and Gavin's not understanding at all that what everything that Gavin says is a reflection of what they did while I was in the room.
Yep.
You know, it wasn't a reflection of anything else. So I mean, they all had their chance. You know, like I usually don't go into Christian rooms. Like this is something new that I've been doing just for the kicks of it and to kind of troll Smokey. But like they had their chance at me, right? And they could have just ganged up on me, and they couldn't do it.
I mean, and just to like make up a scenario to kind of illustrate, like say that you're in a debate and it's question and answer period, and an audience member asks you a question, and you obfuscate and dodge the question, and your interlocutor calls you out for it. If you don't have an argument to answer that, then you might call your interlocutor something like Homo Santa. So talking about mockery, not having an argument, using mockery.
I recall, all of Smokey's arguments are mockery. Like it's insults and mockery. That's all he does. And you notice like earlier when he was talking about my two streams, those weren't attack streams. Those were like legitimate saying, Smokey, hey, if we're gonna have a healthy relationship based on respect, well, then you have got to address these things here. Why are you supporting Matt Powell? He still has not come out and said anything about Matt Powell. Like he doesn't want to talk about Matt Powell because he supports the things that Matt Powell says. That's the only way I can. That's the only way I can take it at this point.
And he called Matt Powell his brother, but then when I was engaging Smokey in the comment section, he tried to say, "Well, when did I say I was his fan?" Well, you said you were a fan of his rhetoric when you called him your fucking brother. That's when you said you were a fan.
And I've given him, he's had plenty of opportunities now. Like any of these opportunities or any of these actual conversations that we've had now since that stream came out, at any of those points, he could have said, you know what, Knock, you were right. And what Matt Powell says is atrocious. That has not happened. In fact, he goes out of his way to call those streams attack streams when I wasn't. I was simply saying and giving the benefit of the doubt that he didn't understand who Matt Powell was, and now I've shown you, and he won't come out and say and denounce the guy. Like no, so to me this is the crux of it. This is if you're gonna accuse me of things. Yeah, it doesn't matter because it's Smokey Saint. Who the fuck cares?
Can you smell it? Can you smell that?
A little bit.
I smell shame and nonsense. Oh wait, Sky Out's back. All right, I understand now. Okay,
it's just great, man. It's just fucking great. You're like you have been thoroughly exposed here. You have been thoroughly exposed. Everybody knows I'm not a racist. Everybody knows I'm not an anti-Semite. You stood in the smoke when you said that shit, Smokey. And. Yeah, I mean, it's just you brought this, and it's funny because eventually I'll move on, and you'll just be an afterthought. You won't even have the longevity that Matt Powell has because you're literally nothing. You're an amusement for me right now. But I have found a new passion because of all this. I love going in these Christian rooms now, John, and I can't wait to the moment to where they're not going to let me in anymore.
Oh,
because
it'll happen.
Yeah, because that's when I won, right? Like, now who's the one that's scared here? Who's the one that's scared? But let's continue. We got so much more to listen to. It gets so much funnier.
Why won't anyone think of the children?
What I wish I'd said to him, look, who has more rights to give and take life? Is it a woman or is it the creator of existence? Which one should have more rights?
That's a great point. That's a great point, Dwayne.
That's exactly what we should have said to him.
All right, so now we're literally to the point of should have. All right, so now they're to the point. They're starting to understand they just got their asses handed to them. So now they're going to start talking about what they should have said when they had the chance to actually have said it. I told you guys this was fucking funny shit.
There was more right to do.
Sorry, John. Go ahead.
No, I didn't say anything.
Oh, I'm hearing shit, guys. I'm hearing shit. I smoked some weed. I'm sorry.
You did that though, Chris. You did because you did say that actually.
See, like atheists are all obsessed when it comes to morality. It's like they always go to like death and murder, and that's one thing. Our modern society, we've really been removed from death. It's been kind of like hidden from people. Where like back in the day, you used to like kill chickens on the farm. You know, that's how people grew up around death. It was normal, and you couldn't use it to like make it so afraid. Like people knew that that's just the part of life. It's not necessarily a bad thing. Atheists think death is like the worst thing ever, but it's not. It's just that's just the cycle. I don't know.
So, don't do drugs if you're at home. Like, just smoke weed. Don't do drugs because PMARS really shouldn't be on anybody's stream. I saw Brainbug's thing in the chat. Did he just say fictional characters should have more rights than real people? Yes, that's their argument now. Like, they're literally saying, because women have abortions, of course God can kill babies.
Yeah. Oh, and then Jefferson Spatchcock had a nice little comment too.
Let me find it.
Here, I got it. Love it when they mock concern for children while claiming to be the only ones who truly care about children because abortion should be banned.
Yeah, and that's the conundrum I had. I had them in through this whole conversation, right? Like, and that's why eventually they did try to take it to an abortion conversation, is because they had to have understood. Like, I made them look really, really bad. Like, they should not have let me stay on topic. I was amazed at how I was able to dictate the conversation the whole fucking time. They even told me one time, like, I could talk about anything I wanted. And I'm like, all right. I'm like, why would you let me do that? Especially when I'm just handing your asses to you. But that's why they're so butthurt now. Like, we are literally like 10 minutes in, like for 10 minutes since I've left this room at this point. They've been talking about me, and now they're to the I should have said part of that, which is fucking funny.
Yeah, let's listen to this straight through.
You can't even defend it if you're pro-choice. You can't even defend it, and it was good that Smokey actually brought that up because it literally disintegrated his argument.
Yeah.
Notice that all the people that are pro-choice are already born.
Yeah.
Well, it's so bizarre the stances he'll take that actually like are not only self-destructive but culturally destructive.
Right.
Like, you could see how he started freaking out. Like, once I drew it full circle to say, well, I could handle it the way you've condoned things to be handled that are found to be offensive. Like, I think you've said things that maybe I could quantify to a level offensive enough to use violence to justify against you.
Yeah.
Because apparently we get to set our own arbitrary guidelines for that as to what we find to be that offensive. And I'm sure you would condone the black person reacting to that to be able to take their retribution out in any way that they saw fit, including sucker punching. Let's face it, that's generally what you see happen anyway. So would I want to get on a plane and go and meet Nock personally face to face, or would I want to do what he claims to want to do, which is to be consistent and follow through with what he claims to be the solution to these situations, which is for me to just show up at random, surprise him somewhere where he's not expecting him, and go upside the back of his head with a baseball bat.
Well, hey, check this out.
All right.
Okay, so this is why this is so ridiculous. All right. Smokey, I don't know. If you're listening, you'll be listening in the future, whatever. You're obsessed with Nock, so you'll hear it at some point. If you were to do the scenario that Nock was talking about, and you were to use the N-word in front of a group of black people, and one or two of them or all of them wanted to give you some physical retribution for that, I guarantee you they wouldn't wait. Okay, they wouldn't wait till a later time and sneak up behind you and sucker punch you. Okay, they would let you know right on the fucking spot, dude.
Well, yeah, what I find hilarious about this part right here, for one, you know, we pointed it out at the very beginning when they were literally trying to say that I started that part of the conversation. Like, I resorted to, you know, I'm the child. I resorted to talk of violence. So, no, here Smokey is literally admitting that he started that, right? So, yeah, like, it was hard to really make it out because so many people were over talking each other. But, like, in that conversation, Smokey said, well, then I guess because you're saying it's wrong for me to use the N-word and there's, you know, ramifications for using that word, well, then I can find what you're saying to be offensive. And then I could fly to Michigan and I could attack you for that there's justification for that.
Well, and the other thing is too, okay, so, and you would get a different reaction if you were to, you know, say for any ethnic group, if you use what a pejorative was for them, like if you use the N-word in front of black people, you're going to get a different reaction from every one of them, okay? Because some of them are going to just ignore you. Some of them are going to kill you with kindness. Some of them, very rightly so, are going to be pissed at you using that word and not take any action. And then just like there's a variety of human beings in every ethnicity. And then some of them might be so pissed that they would do physical violence. So when Knock was making this argument, he wasn't saying, yeah, use the N-word and anybody and everybody is going to beat your ass and they would be justified in doing so. No,
that's not life.
He was saying, you can go ahead and say that word, but you could suffer some consequences from it. And
there's a possibility.
If someone beats your ass for it, I'm going to laugh at you because you're an idiot for having used that word and thinking that you can just use it at will.
That's my argument, John. That's my whole argument. You steal my argument briefly. Yeah, I think I literally said that to him several times, right? Like, you know, and it as that conversation escalated, I said, well, because when he took it to a violent place, I do what I do, and I react, and I said, all right, bring it to Michigan then, bitch, something along those lines. But then I even offered him, I was like, all right, so I'll buy your plane ticket. I will let you come here, and I will give you the first hit. So you have the freedom of that first hit, right? You have that freedom. You're going to get that hit, and you can take it as hard as you want. You can take it, you know, you can punch me in my nose. I mean, you could really have a good chance of doing me some damage, but there is a consequence for that action, because then I'm going to get up and I'm going to stomp that ass. I mean, that's exactly how the conversation went down.
And now CJ's in the house, and he says physical retribution for offensive speech is never okay. Well, guess what? That's why both of us said all along, yeah, you might get that ass beat, but the person who gives the ass beating, they might have repercussions too, because they might have to go to jail. Who knows? They might have to have to pay what do you call?
And I straight out fucking disagree with that claim. I straight out fucking disagree with that claim. Tell that to the people being lynched and called that N-word back in the 50s. Tell that to them and their ancestors. Tell that to them. Because I strongly disagree. If you're going to be a fucking racist fuck, you deserve what you get. So I strongly disagree. I will laugh, and I will smoke a blunt, and I will laugh at your racist ass. So no, I strongly disagree with that, CJ. Period. I mean, I don't run from that. I think it's funny. Do it, please. Come to the hood in Battle Creek. Come to the hood in Battle Creek and say that word. Say that word. And just make sure I'm there so I can laugh. I mean, you CJ, you are now putting yourself in the Smokey camp. Like, don't be a racist, dude. Don't be a racist. Like, you already argued for against taking down these racist ass fucking statues. Don't be a racist, please. I mean, you seem like a somewhat decent dude. Don't be a douchebag. Just don't. I think it's fucking funny if a racist gets his ass beat. I'm sorry. You say I'm immoral all you fucking want. It's funny. It's funny. I don't want that person to be killed, But like if a bitch gets slapped, I think it's funny.
Yep.
And that's apparently his solution to these issues of
Do you know
verbal
something?
miscommunications.
Do you know
Right.
something? Is how contradictory he actually was. Because
Oh,
one
yeah.
minute he was arguing about the flood killing babies, right?
Right.
Then the next minute he's saying that pro-choice is okay. Then
Yep.
1 minute he's saying I want to talk to Nicholas about love, but then the next minute he's talking about fighting.
Yep.
So hold
Yeah.
on, mate. You're confused.
Well, I mean, here's another thing too. He was assuming that these babies were killed in the text, and there's nothing in the text that actually demonstrates that babies were killed. Even though in Samuel 15 it does say that infants or whatever, but still that could be hyperbole in war rhetoric. And I demonstrate there's so much citations about their scholarship saying that it was rhetoric anyway. So
Well,
it's not-
and by the way, in terms of the rhetoric, let me fill this in too, is that the rhetoric was generally not just there for the sake of, the Israel people, the kingdom. It was usually generally sent by emissary. So the kingdom would get word of the fact that the Jewish people were coming to attack. And so if there was anyone there that possibly believed in that the God of Israel was the true God, they would flee. They would leave the city, they would go out into the country, they would get out of there. So their blood would not be on their hands. But if you stayed, if you defied the living God and his people and the judgment to stop the disgusting cultural practices you people were engaging on, yeah, your blood was on your hands.
Right.
And he was making he was presupposing a lot of things he was saying, and he was acting inconsistently with his own worldview. I mean,
all right, just real briefly, like we do get that we are still in that I should have said mode. Like they're all reflecting on what they should have done.
Right. Well, and then did I just hear a Christian? I think it was even Sky Out, wasn't it, that said that atheists were presupposing?
Yeah.
Come on, man. And then the marvelous conflation that they were trying to make between you calling out their omnipotent, omnibenevolent God for drowning innocent babies. They're conflating that with you saying someone who uses the N-word in front of black people may take an ass whooping. And that somehow you were being hypocritical by saying to one of them, hey, I'd like to have you on my channel. Let's talk about, what love means, or, it's just, they're all over the place, dude.
Well, yeah, you make a great point there. We have to remember, because that was the last stream, that this all started because I told a Christian, hey, man, I think you seem somewhat decent. I think that you really believe in this love thing, and I want to have a conversation with you about maybe trying to expand that love to include everybody. A humanist conversation, trying to bring, like maybe show him that he can open himself up and not hate gay people or whatever it is that atheists, that he really seems to not like atheists. So and because of that, this whole shitstorm started. But it started because of the comments that Smokey made when I got him to a place to have an actual rational man-to-man conversation with me. And he's the one that made the comment that he took offense with me saying that I would laugh at somebody getting smacked for saying the N-word, because I'm like, you're an idiot. Like honestly, like in this day and age, right? Like if you're just going to be a racist piece of shit, that's funny. I mean, I think it's funny.
So I just want to say to Matt Powell's gay pet pterodactyl, great fucking screen name, by the way, that after reading the last comment of yours I read, didn't most of you all earn your red wings in your 20s? That makes me not want to back the chat up and find out why that comment was made.
I didn't see that.
I do not want to know, earning your red wings. Google that, folks. Earning your red wings.
Yeah, I mean, oh God, I told you guys this was going to be a lot of fun. We're going longer than usual. I still got about 5 minutes of this that I want to show, because I told myself to cut it off at a certain point, because I must have heard something that I really wanted to finish on. So, but I told you guys this shit was going to be funny. Yeah,
we're coming up on 2 hours.
Oh, what did I do that time? All right. Screw my notifications. All right, what was that, John?
No, I said, yeah, we're coming up on 2 hours already.
Yeah, we're getting there. All right, so All right, we'll get back into it.
Contradiction in terms. I mean, you have to be logically coherent and logically consistent. And
he prides himself. He prides himself on consistency. He brags about it.
Right.
You know, when you started talking about the Constitution and stuff, and this, I mean, I feel like the founding fathers were influenced heavily by the morals of Jesus. So I don't know. His argument was that they're deists, so then
even then, you still have to give credit to the fact that the founding documents had a objective moral footing. That's not something that's ever synthesized or created in any secular reality.
Right. So, and I mean, Nakasuchi should throw away all of his money because it says God we trust and on our money. And when you go into a courtroom, you're sworn in on a Bible because it's the truth. And the Pledge of Allegiance, you're saying one nation under God.
Oh my God! Yeah, you're muted, Knock.
Fuck! I got to get used to that. All right, so real quick, we won't stay paused long, but like for one, I have no choice about what the fucking money says. I don't get this point. I don't understand it. Like, what the fuck is he even talking?
Well,
Kyle, you're in the chat. What the fuck are you even talking about?
Both of those things happened like back in the 1950s. They changed the if you go and look at the original Pledge of Allegiance, one nation under God was not in there. Okay,
and you don't have to swear on a Bible.
Right. You can say that you're an atheist, and
I could swear on Harry Potter if I fucking wanted to.
And just real quick too, as long as you stop, I want to answer this. CJ says, he's responding to Brian Stevens. It seems to me like something we should all agree to. Speech isn't truly free if someone can be destroyed or beaten up because someone else deems the rhetoric offensive or unkind. No, that's not true. Speech is always free. Okay, you can say whatever the hell you want. We're not making the argument that speech should be limited, but there is certain speech that you are going to suffer consequences for, and it might not be that you get your ass beat. I mean, it might be that you fall to cancel culture. It might be that you end up being a pariah to your circle of friends.
Not even in that situation, like we said. I don't think in this day and age, most black people aren't even going to like beat your ass anymore. They're going to laugh you off as a racist and move on with their lives. Yeah. But that could be the consequence alone is now you're labeled for what you are, which is a racist, which is something that should be labeled in a negative connotation. So don't be a fucking racist. I mean, that's the point of the argument. It's just you have the freedom to say the fucking word, but to every action, there's a fucking consequence. What can't you understand about the reality of life?
Right. And now, mind you, this is CJ that's saying that, yet he worships a God who slaughtered babies, but taking a beating for saying something racist, that's morally repugnant. But his God drowning babies or telling folks to smash babies' heads against the rocks, telling people to cut open the bellies of all the pregnant women, that's A-okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's just these people spent the last hour when we had this conversation literally defending the position that killing the innocent is okay as long as God does it or God orders it. So like you can't just, we're not just talking about the flood. We're also talking about what the Israelites did under the direct orders of God, supposedly, I mean, so it's a very complicated conversation, right? And it really has nothing to do with using the N-word. But at the same time, that's what Smokey's mad about. And he can't get over it. And, CJ, you're in the side chat and you seem to be somewhat butthurt about that too. And I would say, get the fuck over it. You live in the real world. It's not cool to be a racist and just stop.
Yeah. I mean, and I agree. There's people in the chat. They're saying, hey, CJ, we like you. You seem cool. And I agree with that, but that doesn't mean we're going to agree on everything, man. So,
and it doesn't mean that if you're, I would watch defending Smokey Saint because, we know what he is. He's been thoroughly exposed. Don't latch yourself onto this. I'm not even going to use his terminology.
Well,
but just Smokey. Don't latch on to Smokey.
Well, and and in that debate that I've referenced several times during the stream, if you go and you look and you compare the way CJ conducted himself to the way Smokey conducted himself. CJ was an honest interlocutor. He was a respectful interlocutor, while Smokey wasn't any of those things. Okay, and CJ, he even, not that I agree with what he said, but I give him credit. During that debate, he was asked pointedly by either T-Jump or Skyler, so if your God does it, then it's okay, in reference to what happened in the flood. And he didn't ham and haw. He didn't, try and obfuscate. He simply said, yes, that's my position. And he didn't start every one of his points with an insult or with some snarky comment or using ad hom within the body of his answer. So CJ is definitely nowhere near what Smokey is. So,
but again, I wouldn't ruin all of that by latching on to a person like Smokey Saint, because he's going to drag your ass down with him. But that's on you, dog. That's on you. But we are going to continue, because I do want to get through this. My daughter wants my green screen down. So let's continue.
So there you go.
Yeah.
The atheist will quote Thomas Jefferson, where he said, Thomas Jefferson said that Christianity was like a perverted system or something, but he was a Christian deist, so he's talking about like corrupt churches and shit. And I think he's right. Like, I think these modern churches and modern version of Christianity has been totally, I guess, cucked. Would be a word you could use. But I think Jesus's message has been watered down, and so I don't know. Anyways,
I don't understand.
P. Mars's real quick. P. Mars's usage of the word "cuck" there just kind of indicates some things to me about who P. Mars is, but I'm not going to relay those things because it's just my opinion, bias. I need to update Malware Bytes. All right, let's
how people can reconcile Seth and Cain creating Nephilim babies from two humans. It had to be from fallen angels for it to be a giant offspring. Like, surely the God people can't believe that. Stephen,
tell me, I know, during childbirth, just for a human baby, John, I know this because I've had a child. The woman's body kind of does miraculous things, right? Explain to me how a giant baby gets born without killing the woman.
Yeah.
It's it's such a stupid story. It's such a stupid story.
Maybe they have to unhinge their pelvis like snakes unhinge their jaw.
I just don't get it, dude. Like, how can they believe this stupid shit? Like, how can they believe this stupid shit? CJ, you seem smart. How do you believe this stupid shit?
Cain's bloodline, creating babies would create giants and Nephilim and stuff like that. That's a total misinterpretation of the Bible. Right?
Yeah, he was assuming, he was what we call cherry picking, prima facie interpretation. He doesn't follow it up ever with any type of scholarship, any type of hermeneutics, exegesis. And
no hermeneutics
he went on the slavery mumbo jumbo too. And I could have literally eviscerated him on that. I just didn't want to waste my time.
Me too, but I couldn't even get a.
I could have. But you didn't, Praise. You was quiet the whole time. You didn't. Why didn't you if you could have?
Yep.
Oh, we're like 15 minutes away from me leaving the room now. They're still talking about I could have. What you couldn't have done in that moment was, Praise, I guarantee, is unclenched them butt cheeks because you're so butthurt right now. Oh, I told you guys this was just too funny. This was just too fucking funny. Once I finally saw it, I'm like, oh hell yeah!
Either way, but
I was hoping you would. To be honest, because
I was ready. I was ready to jump in with you know me, Praise. I'm always ready to jump in with slavery.
Dude, I mean,
I should have jumped in when Nakasuchi was crushing Jill on slavery. And you, Praise. I should have jumped in because I'm the best when it comes to this decision. I didn't do it.
And then listen to what Praise has to say in response to what he said.
Freaking warrior, dude! Like one of the best I've ever seen. It's a pleasure to be part of your fellowship.
Well,
Yeah,
geez, I wasn't fishing for that much of a compliment, but geez, man, thanks.
It's funny.
I'm serious, man. I'm impressed.
It's funny.
Like how you must be like John Maddox, John Peterson, because you are now prophesying the future.
Yeah.
Holy shit! I shit, dude. I didn't like. You would think that this would be like a Raging Atheist production, right? Like I staged this to promote myself,
Right.
but I didn't.
Funny how ass backwards his thinking is. Like he thinks Christianity is responsible for slavery when it's actually responsible for liberty. What the fuck?
Yeah, but when I asked him about what it would do if God was immoral, what difference would it make? Would it mean that God doesn't exist? And he obviously said, well, no. So what's the point in the argument then? And then he says he's holding some objective truth when how do you hold objective truth if you didn't create the reality that you find yourself?
I don't think once we talked about objective versus subjective morality the entire time I was there. Like I showed that conversation. I don't remember that.
I don't ever remember you ever claiming that there are objective moral truths.
Yeah, like my thing with like objective and subjective morality is, yeah, sure, maybe society makes some things objective. You know, it's objectively wrong to murder somebody in cold blood, for instance, right? But like when it comes to like objective morality of Christians, it seems to be very subjective to me. It seems to change based on the Christian or the denomination or the group think of wherever that Christian is.
What their interpretation of what God says. I mean, the thing is like, and this is what I say, okay, where there's an appearance of objective morality, what it is a consensus reached, by the majority of humanity over time, brought on by.
Sure. Yeah. Because
earlier,
there's like definitely elements of society that see no wrong with committing cold-blooded murder because they do it all the time, right? Like,
but the majority of people, if you went around the world and you asked, is it wrong to kill an innocent baby? And even Christians, the majority of the people on the planet would agree with that. Okay, yeah. But that was arrived at, over, through evolution of humanity, evolution, society of evolution, the evolution of our abilities to, as I mentioned earlier, think in the abstract and empathize and living in societies over millennia's time. We know that that's bad. I don't rob you because I know that that's bad for society, and I don't want to be robbed.
Yeah.
And from evolution, we know from the billions and billions of human beings that have come along over the millennia that have raised babies know that those babies are innocent and that their minds are not fully formed when they're babies. So we've come to that conclusion. Yes, killing a baby is wrong. It's not really an objective moral truth, but it seems like it's objective because over millennia, we've all come to the same page, basically. And when I say all, I don't mean all. There are some whack jobs out there. We're showing a video right now with some of them that will find a way to condone the killing of babies.
Yeah, I think most would agree it's morally reprehensible to kill an innocent baby. There, of course, are sociopaths out there with no empathy whatsoever. And some of those sociopaths make it through society and nobody knows them. Sometimes we fucking glorify them. Say if sometimes in certain situations of war, we've probably glorified some sociopathic people. But the common consensus, I think, no matter your religion, lack of religion, would be that killing babies, like a baby's not capable of committing a sin. A baby's not capable of committing a wrong action. A baby truly is the essence of innocence. That is morally wrong.
Yeah, I mean, and yeah, like you say, certain people throughout time, do the things that the majority of people wouldn't agree with, and that's why you end up with repercussions or blowback for like some of the things that some people did, like during the Vietnam War, where where non-combatants were slaughtered, including children and stuff. And the majority of our armed forces, served honorably in that conflict. But there was a small contingency that did some pretty horrible things. And they received blowback for that. They received repercussions for that. That's why we have laws, right? Like if you go against society's standards, then you have to face the consequence. Again, all of it comes down to the original conversation of action and consequence, right? Like I'm a person that went to prison. I committed an action, and I had a consequence for that, and I faced that consequence like a man. I did my time. I got out, and I broke out of that cycle that put a lot of people back in prison. I educated myself. I really faced all the odds, and despite like certain life failures, I think that I've really overcome the odds in this life. But it's all action and consequence. Whatever you do in this life, whatever action you take in this life, there's going to be a consequence. Sometimes that consequence is good, sometimes it's bad, sometimes it's neutral, but there's always a consequence. And for anybody to not think that, or to say that I'm a bad person for recognizing that, they're living in a different reality than I am. And it's not hard to see, because you obviously believe that your imaginary friend talks to you. So that's a different reality than I live in. And we're not going to see eye to eye on everything when we're living in different fucking realities. Well, and I just want to correct myself. A few minutes ago, I said we were coming up on 2 hours. We didn't start till 12:30, so it's only been like an hour and a half. Yeah. So we still got time, and we're almost to the end of what I'm going to show. So we'll let it go, and then we'll get some wrap up thoughts and just talk about how much fun this was. I mean, this was funny, and if you want to see it uninterrupted, Praise the Stream is fully it's fully uploaded now. So I leave around somewhere 3 hours 39 minutes. Go check it out. Hilarious shit. I'm sure they're gonna go on longer. Again, we're almost to 20 minutes and they're still talking about me after I left this room, talking about what they would have done or could have done, but not what they did do.
You couldn't know anything to be objective. Everything would be subjective to you, like it is subjective to us. The only reason we know something objective is because God put the objective truth in.
Exactly.
All right, guys, I have to get up for work tomorrow morning, man. I got to go, but thanks for...
So maybe that was it. Maybe that was around... Yeah, maybe I just had my timestamp wrong. All right, so... Yeah, I think it's fairly apparent that they were really, really butthurt. They had to talk about me for 20 minutes. Maybe they talk about me longer after Skyout leaves. They had to talk about what they would have done and what they could have done, not about what they did, and not acknowledge the fact that I pretty much made them all look pretty stupid, and yet they call me stupid. I'm low rung material. I'm just like a stepping block, so they can go up and debate bigger and better atheists because I'm so stupid. But they were so very butthurt.
Well, let's admit it right now, okay? Like you and I have always said, we're not on the level with like the Dragnauts and the sock accounts of the world, and Skylar and all them guys. But when we go after these guys, we're still punching down.
Yeah, I mean,
we're punching down.
For me, it's been a progression. Like I think I get better and better at them. I think that I found a new calm. To where it's really hard to shake me or get that old rage to come out. Because I think old rage really would ruin a lot of conversations. So now I found a calm. I don't know if it's because of the heart attack. I have to try to keep calm.
I think it's because you're trying to live a cleaner life. You
I'm
drank in 8 months.
I'm healthier.
You're smoking down. You're working out. That's to allow you the basis to stay calm, and we don't want the rage to completely disappear.
Well, no, yeah, I mean they're going to come out. I mean it does come out. Like I'm always going to get pissed off at shit.
I mean, I got to tell you right now, the one thing I don't miss that I'm glad that you cut out is the 4 o'clock in the morning drunken streams. You feel like you have something that you need to respond to.
Yeah.
And then you'd get up the next day and go, oh
shit. Let's delete that. Too late. Yeah. Hundreds of people already saw it.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yep.
That happened a lot, you guys. If you guys weren't around back then, that happened a lot.
In fact, I was the recipient of one of those at one time.
Yeah, I mean, I would get mad at just about fucking everything back then because I
Well,
was drunk. I was drunk, and I'd be drunk out of my mind, and I'd misread shit, or I'd push shit in there that wasn't meant, and I'm like, fuck all of you.
Yeah, I mean, believe it or not, you watch me and Knock doing all this stuff, and I do my show on his channel and everything. But at one time, last year in 2019, when I was having streams on the GDC, I actually booted Nakasuchi one night from the stream.
I was drunk. I was drunk as fuck.
Yep, that was when he was really heavily drinking just about every day, and I don't even remember what the particulars of it were, but I just said, well, okay. And I booted him. And then that was like one of the 3 a.m. streams from him. And then like the very next day after that, it was like everything was cool again because, and I commend Knock because he has stuck to the no drinking for how long's it been now?
Since January 31st. I drank New Year's Eve. December 31st. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I drank New Year's Eve, yeah. But I have drank one time. It was a long time ago. I drank one time with a girl. But you can't knock me for that.
Yeah, you had to get the boots.
Yeah, I had to get it somehow. I see how you are, John.
Yeah.
But no, she wanted to drink, and I didn't want to be the downer. Like, oh, we can't drink on our date.
Right. Well, and it sounds like you didn't get tanked.
No, it was just it was more of a social drinking.
Yeah, you don't want to get that whiskey dick.
No, well, no, and nothing happened that night. It was just I didn't want to be the downer and be like, because like I'm not in some program. I'm not under some strict code where I can't drink. I just choose not to. I made the decision. I'm going to stop fucking drinking. I'm going to stop doing it, and I did.
Okay, look, we're wrapping up, but I gotta answer this. Okay, Sky Out.
Come on, Friday, Sky Out.
He says we are just, and a lot of this I'm going to agree with. We are just relatively advanced primates. There really isn't any objective right or wrong. It is just evolution. It's a mindless, unguided process. So, Sky, are you basing that on the fact that you are mindless? Because the rest of us, we all have minds. Okay.
Well, no, I think he's talking I think he's mocking what you were saying there. And so he's saying pretty much that I think from what I'm reading is that you're mindless for following such an unguided process. And I think he meant these, not their. These are just empty claims and empty assertions. I think Sky Out's just Sky Out might be drunk right now, honestly.
Yeah, it is. It is after 2 in the afternoon, so yeah, he might be.
I can say things like that now that I don't drink, and it's funny. Back when I was drinking, that shit would be like, "Fuck you."
How is it? Okay, morality is unguided unless it comes from this being that we're claiming exists that we can't prove you exists. But for some reason, human minds can't come up with a concept of morality. That I just never understood that argument.
I don't know. Like, I think I could probably find a job as the Sky Out whisperer. So it's like Sky Out can just go around and troll chats, and then I can come in and interpret what he actually meant to say.
I'm trying to think, there was somebody else that was doing that one day on Discord. Somebody was in there, like, and Sky Out was trying to say stuff, and then I forget who it was. Somebody in Drag's Discord would like step in after Sky Out got done talking, and then he would say what Sky Out said in English, so the rest of us understood it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what Sky Out. You need a Sky Out interpreter.
Yeah. Without God, there isn't any absolute standard of right and wrong.
Oh, Sky Out. No. So to end it. So Thursday night's gonna be about Bigfoot. Should be fun. But Friday night, I took the night off. I usually don't take my birthday night off. I don't really see anything special to celebrate about getting a year closer to death. They say that we just, we have this thing about death that we don't like. I don't want to die because to me, death is final.
Yeah.
So
I'm waiting for the robot bodies.
Yeah. I hope that happens. Like, I would definitely sign up. Sign me up.
I mean, or if they had some shit like was on Black Mirror, where the people that were old and indigent and, you know, in bad shape, near death, they would upload their consciousness into a computer and they would live in this virtual reality. Sign my ass up, man.
Oh yeah,
if it's
I would
that,
definitely do that.
between that and dying and never being again, fuck yeah.
Yeah,
Hey,
I would definitely do that.
CJ says, Rage, I'm going to email you soon for a talk if you're down.
I'm always down. I'm always down.
Got thousands topics in his mind. Well, hey, CJ, come by Friday night for the birthday stream.
Yeah. Please come by. Everybody, anybody's invited. Even Smokey Saint. Smokey, if you want to come and have a nice dumpster fire of a conversation on my birthday, I would enjoy that. You're welcome.
I can't think of a better present for Knock.
Yeah, I mean that would be a great birthday present. But I mean, hopefully it'll be fun. Like Jay, you're invited. Anybody that wants to come on, anybody. Like we'll shuffle people in and out. Anybody can come on. I'm going to be streaming for a while. Open conversation. We'll talk about whatever you guys want.
And we can have up to 10 people in the room at the same time now on StreamYard.
So yeah, it should be a lot of fun.
There's a big backstage area where, like he said, you know, you can just switch people in and out.
It should be a lot of fun. So it's been a while since we've done something like that. You know, we had the structured one with the 10 atheists, but this will be fun. This will just be open conversation. We can shoot the shit or we can talk serious. And yeah, like CJ, you can come by. Praise, you can come by. Sky Out, you can come by. Smokey, you can come. Like anybody can come by. I would talk to anybody. I'll talk to Smokey right now. I'll talk to Smokey right now. I might try to find. I might walk up into a Christian room tonight. I've been having a lot of fun doing that. I have the night off. Why the hell not? So like, I'm really enjoying talking to people again. And I think that's why the channel suffered for a while. Let's be honest, because we changed the structure up. We were interviewing and it wasn't me doing this. It wasn't me doing what I do. And now I'm back to doing what I do. And I like it. You know, it's not on my channel anymore, but I can just fucking record it and do like we've been doing. Just talk about it.
Yep. So a week from Thursday, we're going to have the second episode of the Women of Atheism Roundtable. We're being joined by Jenna Belk, Dr. Misha Griffith, Topic Thunder, Sassy Heathen, and Saf.com. And then a week from Thursday, our week from Thursday, that's when that's going to, on the 20th of August. And then the third Sunday of next month, Faye will be back, and we will have an entire room of female Muslim atheists, Muslim apostates. And that'll be the episode 3 of the Women of Atheism Roundtable. This Sunday on the Apostate Alliance, we're going to be joined by Eve the Apple. That is her Twitter handle, and she is an ex-Muslim.
Yeah, so good shit coming, guys. I think the channel is really starting to pick up again. I want to thank you guys for being here and watching. I hope you guys had as much fun with it as we did. So I haven't made the outro yet, but I have updated everything. I added Speed of Sound and Carmen. I want to thank all my patrons. I want to thank all you guys for being here, and we're going to see you soon.